morning, students. So again we are starting programming in Python revision tour of class 11 part 2. We will go through part 3 also, but right now part 2, and here we are discussing about the programming, and we had already discussed the sequential construct as well as selection construct. Hope selection construct is very clear to you, because condition plays a very important role in programming. You are not going to make simple programs in daily life. If in actual life we are having complications, we are having conditions, and our decisions, our actions are based on conditions. So in programming also you are going to encounter the conditions, and on the basis of conditions your programming course has to take a decision. So you will be using conditional statement or selection statement very frequently in your program. So the previous part is really very important, and if you have not gone through it seriously, then please go through it again, view it again. So today, in today's session, we are going to cover the iteration construct, that is the repetition the program. Sometimes what happen in program, we have to repeat certain part of code again and again. So in spite of writing that particular code many times, we write the code only once and we execute that particular code multiple times. This is known as repetitions. Now there are two types of repetition. One is called iteration and another is called looping. Here in general we will be using the word iteration, but there is a difference between iteration and looping. You can say in iteration we are using a counter. We are having a counter. We count the occurrence of an activity, how many times. Say suppose I am asking write a program to add 5 numbers. So you know very well that you have to perform addition 5 times. You ask a number, add it, ask another number, add it, ask another number, add it. This asking the number and adding the number, you have to do it 5 times. So this is an iteration. But if say write a program to add numbers, and you say how many numbers, so I say till the user is not entering a 0. So here is the problem. The problem is you have to ask a number and then you have to add it, then again ask a number and then add it, and how many times you are going to repeat, this is not clear. It will totally depend upon the user. It may be the second number user enters is 0, that means you have to add only 2 numbers, or it may be the 1000 number will be entered as 0, so you have to add 1000 number. So that is a looping. So there is a difference between iteration and looping. For looping are condition based. We can say loopings are condition based. We are having certain conditions, and when the condition becomes false, we exit from the loop. So that is performed with the help of while statement, and iterations are counter based. We are having certain set of counters, and when value reaches to a final stage, then we exit from the loop. That is called for statement. So while is conditional and for is counter based. We are having a third type of repetition also, that is you can say object based repetition. So we will talk about this particular thing later on, but right now in this particular session we are going to focus on to while. We are going to focus on the while. Okay, so coming to the iteration construct. What is iteration? Execution of a block of a statement. What are these block of statements are called? They are called loop body. Execution of block of statements again and again repeatedly is known as looping or iteration. Now you can see here, this is a flow chart representing the repetition. Though in the introduction also earlier we had discussed what is repetition, but in this particular flow chart, if you see, we are having a condition. You may have a condition or you may have a counter, whatever it can be. This condition or counter, last value of the counter, is called exit criteria. When this condition becomes false, then you exit from the loop. So this is the exit from the loop. Now if this condition is true, then you enters into the loop body. There are many statements. It may be one statement, or it may be there multiple statements which are supposed to be repeated. This is called loop body. So a loop or an iteration consists of two parts. One is the condition, another is the statements. The statements is called loop body and condition is called exit criteria. And these statements will be repeated again and again. You see the flow lines like this. This is a circle. It is a closed loop. So these statements will be executed again and again till the condition is not becomes false. Right? When the condition becomes false, you exit from the loop. Since you exit from the loop, that's why it is called exit criteria. So you exit from the loop, and outside the loop you have the statement will be executed then. So the number of repetitions or number of times, it is determined by a control condition. It can be either a counter or any relational expression or even an object also. We will discuss about this object repetition also, but this is not going to be covered right now. So that thing which determines how many times the loop will be executed is called exit criteria, and the statement which is going to be repeat again and again is called loop body. So there are two kinds of statement. One is known as for, another is known as while. So here we are going to discuss the while. While statement, it is used for repeated execution of loop body as long as exit criteria is true. The loop will be repeated again and again and again till the condition is true. When the condition becomes false, you will exit from the loop. The syntax is very easy. If you see the syntax, you will find the syntax is very easy. You can see it is while statement, while reserve word or keyword, whatever you want to say. After this you have to provide a condition. Again, you know very well, condition is a relational expression. It is a relational expression and its outcome will be a boolean value. It is either true or it is false. And then there is a beginning of the block. You know, your block is starting. You can see this is the beginning of the block. So block begins, this is the loop body. When the block begins, this is the loop body. Then you specify the statements, and number of statements you can specify. These statements are going to be repeat again and again. So here the statements are the loop body and the condition is the exit criteria. When it is false, then you will exit from the loop. Clear? So this is your while statement format, how we are going to use the while statement. Now just we have discussed like program to find the sum of numbers till the number entered by the user is not 0. It means the moment you enter a 0, you will exit from the loop. So this is our criteria. So we had created two variables. If you see, the variable n and variable s. N is the number you want to add and s is the sum of the numbers. And we are initializing n to a negative number. You can take any number but not 0. You can take any number but not 0, because your program, your loop will terminate when you enter number as 0. So n, and then we are having the s, that is 0. So n is -1 and s is 0. This is multiple assignment. We have already discussed this earlier. While n is not equal to, this is not equal to condition. Okay, while n is not equal to 0, it means we will right now in the beginning you can say n is equal to -1. So is -1 equal to 0? No, the condition is automatically true. -1 is not equal to 0. Yes, -1 is not equal to 0. The condition is true. So when the condition is true, you enters into the loop. Now you enter into the loop and the statement comes n is equal to int input enter a number 0 to exit. You have to enter any number and a prompt will come. If you want to exit, you can enter 0. So you enter a number, say assume any number, suppose you are entering 3. So n becomes 3. Now sum is equal to sum plus 3. Your sum was 0. 3 is added to 0. Now your sum becomes 3. So sum is equal to 0 plus 3. That is 3. And then you will not come to this statement because this is outside the loop. You are in the loop. So you again jumps to this particular portion. You again from here to, you will come to the loop. You will jump to the loop, beginning of the loop. And again the condition will be tested. And what is the condition? Is n not equal to 0? Now what is your n? N is this time 3. So 3 not equal to 0? Yes, 3 is not equal to 0. Again you move to the next statement. And it says n is equal to in input and so on. Again you will get the same message. Again it will ask the number. You enter a number. Say suppose this time you are entering a number 5. So sum is equal to sum plus n. 3 plus 5. Earlier sum was 3 and n is 5. So 3 plus 5 is 8. And then again you move to this particular place. And this time n is 5. So is 5 not equal to 0? Yes, 5 is not equal to 0. Then you come here. Again you enter number. And suppose this time we enter a number as 0. So n is equal to 0. So sum is equal to 8 plus 0. 8 plus 0 is 8. And then again you come here. Is 0 not equal to 0? No, 0 is equal to 0. So you exit. And when you exit, where you will come? You will come at this particular place, out of the loop. This is your out of the loop. This place is your outside the loop. You are out of the loop. So you come to this statement and it will be executed. Print sum is s. This is the flowchart representation of the program. If you see start n, s, n is -1, s is 0. N is not equal to 0. Yes, n is not equal to 0 because it is -1 here. Then you come, you enter a number, it is added, and then again you compare n. And the process is repeated till you are not entering n as 0. If you enter n as 0, 0 will be added. Of course 0 will be added, but it is not going to change the sum. And then you come here, it will check, is n equal to 0? Is n not equal to 0? The condition becomes false because this time your n is 0 and you exit from here. So when you exit from here, the sum is printed onto your screen. Clear? So now when you are working with the loop, we are having two statements. These are called jump statements, you can say, break and continue. We can use the break statement and we can use the continue statement. Break and continue statements are used to jump within a loop. Both are just opposite to each other. Where continue is used to jump to the beginning of the loop, break is used to the exit of the loop. If you want to jump outside the loop, that is you want to terminate the loop, you want to exit from the loop, then you will be using break statement. But if you want to jump to the beginning of the loop, then you have to use continue statement. Both the statement has to be used inside the loop body. You cannot use them outside as a general statement. They are part of the loop statement, loop body. So like break statement terminates the loop. If a break statement encountered in any loop, the control is immediately transferred to outside the loop. You exit of the loop. And the remaining statement of the loop will not get executed. Okay, just take an example here. Say in previous program, what we were doing, we were simply assigning n to -1, then we are asking an input. Even if the input is 0, this 0 will be added here, and then again we are going here and we are comparing. You can say it is something like that post testing. First we are asking the number, adding it, and then we are testing whether the number is 0 or not. But if we want to actually perform pre-testing, we can come here. This is another version of the same program. S is initialized to 0. There is no n and there is no initialization to the n. Then we said while true. This is a constant, literal, boolean literal. So while true, you means this will always, a constant will remain a constant always. Its value does not change. So true will remain always true. So this is an infinite loop. This particular loop body is basically an infinite loop. While true, this is infinite. The loop will execute forever. You will not exit from the loop at all. The loop which is executing forever, that is called infinite loop. And here the condition will always remain true. The true is true forever. So it is a infinite loop. So once you enter into the loop, it asks a number. You enter a number. You can enter any number. Suppose your n is 10. It checks if n is equal to 0. No, your n is not equal to 0. So you jump here. The number is added. Number is added to the sum. And then again you come here at the beginning of the loop. When you come to the beginning of the loop, again the condition is true, it will again ask a number, check whether the number is 0. If the number is 0, then what happens? Condition is true, n is 0, condition is true. You will come to this statement. This is break statement. And what break will do? It will terminate the loop. You will exit from here to this place. You exit from the loop. You come out of the loop. It means the remaining statement of the loop. What are the remaining statements? This statement is the remaining statement of the loop. It will not get executed. This statement will not get executed. So break will terminate the loop. If a break statement encounters in the program, the remaining statement of the loop will not executed and you jumps to the outside the loop. You jumps to outside the loop. Okay. And a continue is opposite. The continue statement in a loop skips rest of the statement. If suppose in place of break I use continue here, what happens? Again, it will not execute all these statements, just like break. Like break, in break also the remaining statement does not execute it. In continue also the remaining statement of the loop does not execute it. But in break you exit from the loop, but in continue you jumps to the beginning of the loop. You will jump here. In middle loop will continue, but the statement will not be executed. So in continue statement in a loop skips rest of the statement of the loop body and transfer the control to the testing expression to the beginning. Okay, or we can say continue statement brings the control to the beginning of the loop. It simply, you can say, restarts the loop without changing the conditions, without changing the counters. Okay, so this is an example of continue. Say we want to further modify our programs, that we do not want to add negative numbers. If someone enters -5, it will be ignored. If someone enters -20, it will be ignored. So this is what we are doing. Again, your s is equal to 0, while true, infinite condition, infinite loop we started. Enter a number. Say this time the message is enter a positive number. So if the number is 0, break, you will exit from the loop. So you come here. But if the number is not 0, it will check again. What is the number negative? If the number is less than 0, if the number is less than 0, then continue. It means again you jump to this particular place. So the number will not be added. Continue. Since the number is negative, this statement will be skipped and you jump to the beginning of the loop, and again you will enter a loop number, sorry, again it will be checked whether it is 0 or not. If it is not 0, you will come here, it is negative or not. If it is not negative, then it will be added, but if it is negative, you jump to the beginning of the loop. So in this particular process you can avoid adding negative numbers here. So this is how you can use the continue, and it is not necessary that you use break and continue simultaneously. This is just an example. Say sometimes you require to make a program where only break is used. Sometimes you have to make a program where only continue is used. Sometimes you have to make a program where break and continue both are used. It is also not necessary that break will be used first, then continue will be used. Sometimes maybe continue is above the break or break is above the continue. So there is no restriction on using break and continue. The only thing is that each time you issue a break statement, it brings you to the out of the loop, and you issue a continue statement, it brings you to the beginning of the loop. So this was your all while statement. Lot many program can be made using while statement. So I am having here assignment. What we have to do, you can see, write a Python program to count the number of digits in an integer. Suppose an integer is 4321. Suppose this is the integer 4321, 4321. So how many digits are there in 4321? 4 digits are there. So you have to make a program 4321. Then write a program in Python to check whether an integer number is palindrome or not. So palindrome is a number which you read from backward is same. Like if you say 1 2 3, so 1 2 3, its reverse will be 3 2 1. So it is not a palindrome. Why? Because 123 is not equal to 321. But if I write 1 2 1, so its reverse will be 1 2 1. This is palindrome. So you have to ask a number, then you have to find its reverse, and once the reverse and the original number both are same, then it will be termed as a palindrome. Then write a program to check whether an integer number is prime or not. You know, the number which is divisible by 1 and itself is prime. So what we have to do, we have to check whether the number is divisible by 2 to n minus 1. If the number is n, then it should not be divisible by 2 to n minus 1. If it is divisible by 2 to n minus 1 in between, or any number in between, then it is not a prime number, it is a composite number. So this is, and then at the last I am having a program. This is write a Python program for Armstrong multiplication. Armstrong was a Russian scientist and mathematician, and he has introduced a multiplication method where you need not to multiply numbers, but simple multiplication and division can give you the result. So in multiplication you are having two numbers, like in our example we are having two numbers 9 and 11, and we want to multiply them. So what he says, suggests that multiply a number, one number by 2 and divide another number by 2. So here we are having 9 and 11, so we are dividing 9 by 2 and we are multiplying 11 by 2. So when you divide 9 by 2 you get 4. It's 4.5, but we will consider integer division here, that is floor division. Remember, floor division. Okay, so it will be 4. Then when 4 is divided by 2, it is 2, and then 2 is divided by 2, it is 1, and at 1 you have to stop. At the same time you have to multiply the another number. So 11 was your number, so if you multiply it by 2, it is 22. Multiply by 2 again, it is 44. Multiply by 2 again, it is 88. Then you stop. Okay, now what do you have to do? Say all the numbers which are odd, they have to be added. The number which you are dividing this thing, this entire set by 2. So here all the numbers which are odd, like 9 is odd, so it has to be added. 1 is odd, it has to be added, and 4 and 2 are even, so they have to be ignored. So which number you have to ignore? You have to ignore these two numbers, and you have to add these two numbers. And if you add 11 and 88, the sum is 99, and this is the product of, or this is the multiplication of 9 and 11. So this is the Armstrong multiplication method which you have to do. But before going through this, I would like to write a program here also in Python. Say suppose I want to write a program to display the digits of a number in lines. Like say suppose the number is 1 2 3 4, so I want to like this, print like this 1 2 3 4. So this is, or 4 3 2 1, whatever you want. We want to perform this thing. Say let's say 4 3 2 1. This is what I want to do. So I want to write a program which should print program to print the digits of a number in different lines in reverse order. For example, this is the number and this is what you want to print. Will results in the number 1 2 3 4 will result in 4 3 2 1. So this is what, this is a multi-line string, and since I am not using any assignment here or any function here, so it will be treated as a comment. This is the comment. Okay, so first of all I have to ask a number. N is equal to int input, enter a number. So n number you have to enter, you enter. Now from n I have to extract 4. I have to extract 4. So to extract 4 from n, what I have to do? I have to divide it by 10, and I have to check the remainder. I have to perform this type of operation. I is equal to n percentage 10. So if I perform I is equal to n percentage 10, what it gives me? It gives me 4. This is what I am going to print, one digit. Okay, So here I am doing here this thing, say while n is greater than 0, I is equal to n percentage 10, print I, the number I want to print, and n is equal to n by 10. N by 10 means earlier your n was 1234 and I want to convert it into 123. So I had divided it by 10. If you divide 1234 by 10, you will get 123. But this statement will not give you 123. It will give you 123.4 because it is division. So I will perform floor division. Okay, floor division, and then this entire thing will be repeated again and again. Okay, 123, again 123 percentage 10, it gives you 3 will be printed, then number will be 12, then 12 percentage 10, and so on. And then I will print, say print, no, I don't want to print anything. I can simply say print, suppose n, just to show the end of the program. This is what I am doing. So this is what the program is, and if you say enter number 1 2 3 4, this is 4 3 2 1, you are getting right. Or say run again, say suppose 1 2 like this, and then press the enter key. So you are getting, you can see 2 6 3 4 8 5 7 4 3 1, 2 6 3 4 8 5 7 4 3 1. Okay, so this is just why I had discussed this particular program here. I want to show you while here, first thing. Second thing, in our assignment, I had given you lot many questions, like all these 2 questions, they will be solved using this particular technique. So if you apply this technique onto these questions, it will be easy to solve them. And similarly, when you will be able to solve these questions, it is going to help you solving these questions also. So best of luck for the assignments. I request you to complete the assignment and let me know whether you are able to solve it or not. And if you have solved it, then it's good, okay. And if not solved, then in case of any problem, please, again requesting, feel free to WhatsApp me, feel free to call me. You can call me, you can phone me, you can WhatsApp me, and you can ask your program. Enjoy the holidays at home, but keep studying. Okay, thank you.